Let's put gym public appearance. Can I spell? Can I spell? I know I'll be struggling with reading, but can I spell? Let's see, 1996. Names, Roottree. No? Okay. All right, y'all already hear that smooth jazz. You already know what time it is. We are back on the rec. I believe this is episode 3. I've been recording these back to back in a way without even uploading to y'all, so I don't even know what the feedback is like. I'm enjoying it, so it's one of those selfish gameplays right now where I'm having a great time, and I would love to know when you guys get to see this, what y'all thinking. If you have been enjoying this series, then I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's long, it's a lot of puzzles. I feel like this is one of those chill gameplays. So if you're up with me and you're watching this, make sure you grab you some water, grab you some snacks, and enjoy. But if you are putting this on to like maybe fall asleep, clean around the house, you know, just some background noise, I hope you have a great time doing whatever you're doing. And if you're sleeping, sweet dreams. I hope my voice is soothing enough for you. Okay. So if I recall right, we left off trying to figure out something with, can I zoom out? Yeah. Something with this family over here. Like I said before, we are still trying to find out the situations with their sons, okay? Or not their sons, with the these people right here, Elias and Gwyneth. Yeah, Gwyneth. We're trying to figure out their kids' situation still, but I feel like we've been, you know, doing a good progress from the stuff that we're finding. I think I honestly don't know where I want to start. I feel like I said I wanted to start with this, the miracle bloodline over here. But at the same time, I kind of want to just, you know, dive anywhere. All right. I think what we're going to do is go to the notable Rootrees. Let's go to Gem Roottree and see what that's all about. Because we pretty much looked up everyone else but Gem. So let's do spider search. Or maybe we did look up Gem Roottree and I didn't find anything. Okay. We did. James Roottree is a singer who sings. Okay. Did I add him to the thing? No, I don't think so. And he's a notable. So whoever Jim Roottree is definitely have a star. But it's just all about where do they fall. A map. This has to be Jim Roottree because that's the only star. That's the only star that's left. Alrighty. I'm going to just go off a whim and just put Gem Roottree right here. Let me zoom into this area first so we can know we're focusing on this. Go back. Excuse me. Don't zoom in. No, my baby. Right there's cool. Right there. His wife is Diamond Singer. Oh, okay. Artist? I don't know if they mean artist as in a musician. Okay, cool. That's what I need. Because, you know, artist as an art, like a painter person, or, you know, just gotta make sure. And I got a picture of her, actually. But who is this? See, this is why I be confused. Like, what is this? And I need to get a picture of Brenda Roottree, I'm guessing. No. So yeah, this is where I'm confused. Like, what are these things? Once you verify the person, you'll be able to add bonus photos. Gotcha. So do we have like a more recent picture of them? I don't think so. I do remember looking this Stephanie Jones up last time, and that's how we got a hold of CM, which was Caroline. Did they have kids? Diamond and James Roottree? Let me search. Let me search Diamond in. He haven't made a public appearance since 1996 though. I'm gonna highlight that because I think that's where these new pictures gonna come in. But what can I search for that though? Like, let's put cherry tree. Cherry tree is a general search term. Okay. Album. Oh, cool. Look at that. An album by Jim and Diamond released in 1995. It wasn't professionally reviewed, though diehard fans of Jim and Diamond online said it was a return to form. The CD was apparently so hard to find in stores that some fans have resorted to selling cassette bootlegs of it. There's a music commerce website that claims to sell the album, but it's sold out at the moment. You do find a short sample of one of the songs called Sun. You add it to your evidence. Okay. Now, what was the other song that they had? Ooh, I forgot. Let me put Jim. Sound of Laughter. An album by Jim and Diamond released in 1989. You can even find a picture of the cover. Oh, you can't even find a picture of the cover. My bad. It doesn't appear to have been very successful, and reviews seem middling even from fans. Some basic liner notes exist on Jim Roottree fan page, and it states that, okay, wait, what's Jim Roottree fan page? Hold on. I'm gonna have to highlight that. And it states that the lyrics in guitar are credited to Jim Roottree and the vocals are credited to Diamond. Okay, Jim Roottree fan page. Okay, let's check out this evidence real quick. Cherry Tree. Cherry Tree is an album by Jim and Diamond, and one of the songs is called Sun. The website you found it on did not have a full version, but you managed to find a short preview of the song's chorus. Jim sings the following. There blazed a spark of light, and that ever brightly shone. From her starting days imparting wisdom to conquer life unknown. Though someday she depart, in part I'd never be alone. In my heart I'll always be the son of. Oh, beautiful. Who's your son? I mean, who your daddy? Who name ran with that? Unknown. Someday do power, I'll never be alone. In my heart I'll always be the son of. I don't know. I feel like there's more to this. Who is his daddy? Wait, hold on. Wait, speaking of that, before I even go, who? Always be the son of someone. I don't have a name for. I need to figure out. Okay, I'm pretty sure they have a. But then again, I'm about to say they could have a son, but then again, it seemed like he's singing about himself in the song. Let me look at Diamond Dazzlers. No? Okay, take me back. I'm just trying to get more information on them. Let's put Jim public appearance. Can I spell? Can I spell? I know I'll be struggling with reading, but can I spell? Let's see, 1996. Names Roottree. No? Okay. How about we go back to Carl? Carl Roottree. Carl Roottree died in a recent plane. Yeah. I don't know. Did I put her mom name here? Okay, I think I could probably find her mom pictured in. Gwendolyn Roottree. Gwendoline. Ooh. That's not her name, right? I don't feel like I did. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, so based off this stuff, how about we go based off this? This is the original, right? Attempt to recapture the spirit of the 5-piece photo with our generation for old time's sake. No. This is the next generation. I need the original generation right here. This is the 5 pieces. So I think this is her mom. The picture is that's him on the left. Pop. This picture was famous in our house. Pop even had 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, who's that back there? I didn't even peep this person. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now 5 people. She said this is Pop's on the left. Okay, so ignore him. It was taken in 1935 to celebrate the move to the warehouse. Okay. Angie and I both wanted to be in the photo since Miracle was in it, and the 3 of us were all about the same age. We were told only the 5 pieces. Okay. So Angie, I don't know who that is, but let me highlight that because I might have to come back to that. Angie and I, okay. We were told only the 5 pieces. Eventually, I suppose. So this must be Sam in the back then. Aunt Gwendolyn. I supposed to stop the tantrums. They posed us in front of the camera while Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendolyn. Okay, Mr. Morden must be dating Aunt Gwendolyn. So that could Angie. No, that doesn't make sense. I found out years later that they never even took a second photo. Okay, so I'm kind of torn. I don't know who is Aunt Gwendolyn, but if I had to make a choice based off Gwen's hair, and I know that's like a big jump, her hair is blonde, so I'm gonna just say this is Aunt Gwendolyn. Okay, like I said, a big jump, but it's something. I don't know what her occupation was, but now Clancy, and then we have Angie. And that letter I was reading from is from Lauren. So this has to be Pops right here. I'm gonna assume that's Pops. I hope I'm getting this right. So now we're working with the last 2. Now my question is, oh wait, no, this is Pop. Oh my God, no, I'm reading everything wrong. I'm thinking when she said Pop that she was saying grandfather, but stop it. Wrong family picture right here. This is Pop. I got the wrong guy. Pop. I'm going to assume this is her, and then I'm going to assume this is him. Right? I don't know who Sam is. And then she said, okay, I'm going to... Gwendolyn was there with Mr. Morden. Morden. Oh my God, this changes everything. So wait, should we call her Morden? Should she be Gwendolyn Morden? Maybe that's what I gotta look her up under. Gwendolyn Morden. Okay. What was the man name? Mr. Morden. That's all I got. Is this Mr. Morden in the back? Like, when does Sam come into play? Because... Okay, let's just put... Mr. Morden. But that doesn't make sense. I feel like everything I need is here. I just need to piece it together myself. Okay. I might have to go through these pictures again. Where is it? This. Starting here. Okay, so Sam is the next generation. So he's not original. Okay. In an attempt to recapture the spirit of the 5-piece photo with our generation, for old time's sake, we gathered on the warehouse floor. I wanted Eli to stand all the way on the left, since to me he looked a lot like Pop did in the old one. Okay, so this is Eli. But was outvoted by my brothers. They insisted the 4 of us stand together, which they're talking about Lauren. 2, 3, 4 behind. Okay, so this is the 4. This is her brothers. Okay, let me lock them in. Go back to her. Look, I'm going to figure this out, y'all. Let's just put her brothers on the map, and then we will figure out who's who when we get there. Ooh, good. I'm not saying this is correct. I'm just putting faces where they need to be on the tree, and then I will adjust to when I need to. Okay. I have to work a little backwards sometimes. Okay, we got Gwen. Grandma insisted we include Sam even if we didn't want to. None of us understood why, including Sam. Also didn't think it's fair Miracle made it in since he's technically a 5-piece. I'm assuming this is Miracle right here. My inner child still hold a grudge. Do I need to put a more recent picture of Miracle in? I thought I put his name. Did I not put Miracle? He's the original Miracle. Okay, let me search Miracle Roottree again, because no, he was a preacher or something like that, right? Why didn't they lock that in? I'm confused. Okay, I know his son was a preacher. I just assumed he was a preacher too. Let me see. It says Miracle Roottree. Miracle Roottree arrived so late in his mother's life that the doctor swore he wouldn't survive his first year. His mother, okay, thought him to be impossible. He was younger than his brothers, over 14 years. With the birth that late, the final child of this generation was nearly torn apart, health problems still with the power of God. On his side, he persevered. Okay. Yeah, he's a preacher, but I'm just trying to figure out who is his mom. His wife / Junior's mom. This is Miracle the Third and his wife Nicole. I put Nicole Smith for now because that's the only other Nicole besides Nicole Matson, which I think is going to actually be on the family tree. But we got to get Miracle Junior's wife. Let me search 3 Generations of Miracles tour. Let me see what that is about. Miracles like that. I'm not seeing it. Okay. Okay, so it looked like they're all were just pastors, to be honest. He's not a pastor? Oh, I keep forgetting preacher. Okay. We got some more stuff, guys. We completed something. These 3 entries are correct and have been locked. It says, you deserve a gold star. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I locked in some more stuff. So we're locked in. Can I add this more recent picture of him now? I'm assuming that's him. So Gwen was she could make it to this photo shoot. Gotcha. Is he in this photo with them? Let me see. I forgot his name. What's his name? Ernest or something like that? They were talking about how he was, or is he Jim? No, he's not Jim, because Jim is the singer. Okay, at least we got all the notables locked in. Need to get more into this tea. This is Angelica. I mean, no, this is not Angelica. I think this. Wait. What was Angelica's name? Or her last name anyway? Hold on, y'all. Let me think. Give me a second. Go back to the table. The original flavors were. Did I look this up? The Sweet History of Charles Lee. Okay, I got this information already. What about Volume 1? What's Volume 1 about? There we go. It says this book is about all the things candy throughout history. It starts with historical accounts dating back to the ancient Egyptians and chronicles candy through the year 1924. It includes some print advertisement from companies you've heard of, including an extremely early newspaper ad for 5 pieces that Charles Lee included due to major misprint. Okay. Roottree 5 pieces. Available from fine stockists throughout the Pennsylvania. You found this advertisement in The Sweet History of Candy, Volume 1 by Charles Lee. Is from 1942, 2 years after the debut of 5 pieces. The author included it because of the spelling error on the word available. Near the bottom. It says that the flavors are inspired by their children, and the order is grape, elderberry, egg cream, cinnamon, abstract, and melon. Okay, Miracle is last. CE, Clarence Edwards. But that doesn't make sense, because don't Clarence have more kids? Because she said her pop looked like their grandfather. Gwendolyn is great. Okay, what's his name? What's the other one? Miracle, Clancy Edward, Gwendolyn, E and E. We need 2 E names. I know there's Eli. And I feel like this was one of those names that tripped us up last time because it was like Elias Jr. Could this be Elias Jr.? I can imagine your firstborn being Elias Jr. Okay, let me see the other one because this was a misprint. Then this one again. Grape, elderberry. Gwendolyn, Miracle. So could that be Margaret? Is this Margaret? Margolite? I'm gonna go with Margolite. Okay, let's look up this name. Can I zoom in, please? Thank you. Margolite. Okay, by skimming the pages, okay, she was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Okay, her mother's family was called the Cosels, but she hardly ever mentioned them. So her dad was married to somebody by the last name Cosels. Let's go back there. Sarah. Her father, who has always referred to as Pop, was the head lawyer of the Roottree. Lawyer. Why didn't I write all this down? First time. I feel like I have the wrong picture. But she said he looks like Pop. And they kind of, they look alike. And he looked like his Pop. I'm sticking to this. I don't know what's wrong here. Maybe the name. Is he Elias Jr.? I don't know. Let me see. No, because Clancy Edward is the lawyer. Clancy Edward. It's clear from the context that the Roottrees have eternal shorthand. This is the first generation of children by Gwyneth and Elias. Lauren's father was in a generation. The next is Lauren's generation. And the Free Spirit is the generation after Lauren's, including her son. Okay, this is her son, Spot. Did we look up her son, Clark Rafferty? I feel like I looked that up. Uh-oh. A few fan sites for the band Jim and Diamond seem to mention that he used to make music with Clark Rafferty. They mentioned an album called These Times. Hard Times. Okay, this information did not. Nope. Never got this information. A band called C&J plus J&D released one single called These Times. Someone with the username Die Hard Dazzler, I'm gonna highlight that, scanned the cover and noted that it would cost him over $200 at auction. Apparently, this was Jim Roottree and Diamond LaRose's first song together. He also mentioned that it was performed with Jim's cousin and Diamond's sister, and that it was only somewhat similar to Jim and Diamond's later work. You can't find anything else about Die Hard Dazzler, the band, or the single, so all that's left to do is add the scan to your evidence. After blazing fast 35 minutes, download. The track is also available. Okay. Hard times, gonna make you even try. Hard times. Folk style handwriting, catchy magazine. These Times is an old single from folk group C&J plus J&D. You have a scan of the album as well as a recording of the title track, thanks to a collector of Jim and Roottree memorabilia. The website also listed the songs credited as music plus lyrics by Clark Rafferty and Jim Roottree, backup vocals by the LaRose. Okay. On it is a sticker that says folk style songwriting catchy. The lyrics of the song contains no clues. Okay. Let me see if I could get Clark's picture. They look younger, so I'm assuming this is Clark. That's not a really good picture of him though. But I'm assuming this is him. I don't know if... Oh wait. She said her sister. I'm gonna assume that's that. A musician as well. Okay, let me see if I can find Clark in the Free Spirited picture then. Is this Free Spirits? Is this Clark? This photo, okay. These are also a large number of cursive signatures. They include Bonnie, next president, Guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Caroline, Gwyneth M., Gwendolyn, Wait, do I have the wrong name? Miracle Jr., Jim Roottree, Clark, Carl, and Eli M. Maybe somebody name isn't right up here. Maybe this isn't Gwendolyn Roottree. Oh no, this says Gwen. Oh no, Gwendolyn right here. Aunt Margolite. Okay, Margolite is cool. Okay, Aunt Margolite is her. Margolite. This isn't Gwyneth. Oh my god, I'm so confused. I'm gonna call this Margot. Because she said she stayed with Aunt Margolite. Because she said I stayed with her and Aunt Margot. So I'm assuming Aunt Margot would be her mom, right? I went to stay with her and Aunt Margot. I hope she would be the sister I never had. Okay, but she just complained to her. Okay, if any of them. Okay, so I'm gonna stick to Gwen and Margolite being her mom. Okay, let me see where I can remember where I left off. Because as y'all can see, it's dark out now, right? I know I did something with, yeah, the pictures. Because we discovered Clark Rafferty and his group. Okay, let's get more into Clark then. I feel like that's the best place to start. I need to figure out who the other character, not the other character, but this C and J and D is his people. Clark and try to search. Nothing. Okay, go back. A band called C and J plus J and D released one single called These Times. I don't think I can search anything on this person, but I'm gonna search. Okay, this is the same thing. Scanned the cover and noted it cost for $200 at an auction. Apparently this was Jim Roottree and Diamond's first song together. He also mentioned that it was performed with Jim's cousin and Diamond's sister, and that it was only somewhat similar to Jim and Diamond's later work. Because I mean, Clark should be on the same line as... Yeah, okay, they are on the same line. Cool. Okay, so yeah, they are cousins. They fall on the same line. Cool. See, where I begin confused is... where do the wives come into play? This photo was note attached from your employer. Here's a bonus. When I pulled up the water, okay. Written on the back is a photo. Couldn't make the reunion. Wishing you well from Paris Film School. Let's search film school. I don't know what that was going to entail. Okay. It says you find some information on the website. Okay, maybe I need to reread her stuff to get some more information about her sons. Well-known actress who were active in the 1950s, which often appeared in tabloids, especially around the... Okay. Her biggest role was in the hit movie Guys Like Us. Also, I remember... I know I'm hopping everywhere, but I also remember this. It was a note she wrote about being jealous about Gwen being out and about, hooking up with guys. One of these men could be, right here, Harrison Lane. He could be one of the kids. See, I knew it. You find some information on the website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. The site is not very well organized and the search is broken, but you can get to individual pages from your search engine. Cool. Harrison Lane was a television actor with a major role in Guys Like Us and some other films. That's the same movie what's her name was in. His largest role before Guys Like Us was as the villain in the first season of Western Frontiers. Due to the popularity of Guys Like Us, the studio brought Lane back to play the villain's twin brother, this time as a hero joining the protagonist. Western Frontiers has no connection to the Rootrees. Harrison Lane seems to be a dead end. Did you know? Harrison Lane married his high school sweetheart after they reunited at a movie premiere. They said, girl, that's too much. Okay, let's look up Guys Like Us. Okay, it says, you find information on the website about old films that are not yet available. Okay, Guys Like Us is a 1953 film in which two secretaries cut their hair short and pose as businessmen to get ahead in life until one of them falls in love with their client and hilarity ensues. Starring Gwen Roottree, Leslie Florence, this is a new name, and Harrison Lane. Okay, let's search this person's name. Then I'm going to go back and search the guy's name. Leslie Flores was Gwen's co-star. Okay, not much relevant information. This isn't even a there isn't even a did you know trivia section for her. Okay, so no point. Okay, let's go back to the table then, and let's look up Wild Bill Williams. Wild Bill Williams was a leading man of some non-notable movies. In the 1950s, he appeared in an adventure movie called Fortune Favors the Grave, which has yet to be released for home audience. You don't find any additional information about the film. He was known for his good looks and off-screen romances, specifically with blondes. He was married 4 different times to 4 different actors. There's a famous Hollywood rumor that he even approached Marilyn Monroe at a party and that she was already aware of his reputation. Wild Bill grew up in Paris, France. He returned there often. It's starting to look like Wild Bill is the one. Let me just search Wild Bill. Let's see. And they were in Paris, so I'm just going to assume. Wild Bill. Oh, what was his name? Oh, he's not even an option. Oh, snaps. Hold on. That changes everything. Wild Bill Williams. What's his real name? Because Wild Bill, isn't Bill short for William or something like that? Some weird mess. Oh, Bill Wild? Nothing's popping. Okay, so he's irrelevant. That's not who she married. Okay, got it. Let's go more into our cousin's diary because she has a lot. But I'm off topic. A girl with all the luck in the world was jealous of me. Okay. Highlighted barely anything. An entry entitled Dynasty from Lauren Roottree. Elias announced he would step down as president of Roottree Candy Company in a meeting to okay. I wish I had been fly on the wall today. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Granddad was furious. None of his sons would take over as president, but that's what he gets for holding on to it so long. Okay, so we had architects, preachers. I know who the preachers are. I know who the lawyer, but who's the architect? Isn't that Eli? Because he built the first warehouse, right? I think he's the architect. Okay, I'm gonna stick that for now. Let's keep reading again. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Okay. Instead, it ended up going to Zach. Even though his surname doesn't match to Candy, he's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. I'm not sure how that's relevant to running a company, but Granddad has always had very particular views when it came to his bloodline. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach. Okay, so that just gave me some insight. So, if I have this correct, Angie will be here. I don't know who Angie is. I'm guessing that's Angelica. And then Zachary Morden. Okay. Or Zachariah. That would make more sense. Angelica Morden. So his wife is somebody last name Morden. Caroline. Or is it Gwendolyn? I'm going to keep reading on this, but now I'm focusing on the firstborn now. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used when he told Mom it wouldn't go to us. Mother, ever the quick-witted, at least with catty remarks, countered back. Maybe they wanted to go to the only member of the family who looks like he samples the product. Okay. So Zach is the chunky boy. That is him. In unknown occupation. President number 3? No, he's the second president because nobody else wanted it. Got it. I just want to know if I got these people correct. I haven't locked in nothing else. Okay. I'm determined to get my 18 by the end of this episode. Wait, who's Gwyneth? It's Gwyneth, Gwendolyn, Gwen. These names. Then we have Elias Roottree. And it's like 1,000 other Elias. Why Sam? I have many distant relatives I've never met. After all, Granny had sisters and Granddad had a brother or two. But I was told trim their branches. Okay. Why is Sam special? Angie summoned all the next gen to a secret meeting in Zach's office. Gwen in Paris. Oh, wait, let's get to the picture. Oh, crap. No. Gwen's in Paris, but the rest of us, including Miracle Boys, spent ages trying to unravel the mystery. I didn't recognize Sam at Uncle Junior's wedding to Patsy last year. Uncle Junior's. I didn't recognize to Patsy. Is Patsy a place? Child, what in the world is going on here? I know Patty is short for a weird name, a Margot or something like that. Margaret. You would never think. Like, what makes Margaret Patty? I don't know. But I don't know if this is a typo or literally Patsy, and I don't know if Patsy is short for another name. Clarence swore he saw Sam working alongside the farmhands, EC and John. Eli, Miracle's youngest, not my brother. Okay, there's so many Eliases. We got Elias C and Elias M. I want to know, can I look up certain stuff in, like, hold on. Like this, keyword, Gwen. The Butler County Times has been around a long time. You find many ads from 1950 for local movie theaters that happen to list Gwen's Roottree name and cast list for the film they were showing at the time. It does not seem like Gwen was a resident of Butler County for long, if at all. Okay. What's Christmas Mission? Like, I keep hearing about that. I feel like I looked that up because it was one of her flops. Let's go back to this. Who else can we look up? Caroline? Okay. Let's do Roottree. Oops. No. The most recent mention of Stephanie Jones. Okay, this is where I left off last time, was around here. It says, with my mother and her partner, I essentially had an entirely female influence. Okay, so her mother possibly could have been married to another woman. Okay. The local business owner, Brian Jones. Stephanie Landon. Okay, let's search Stephanie Landon. I don't know if I searched this last time. No. Okay, let's do Stephanie Jones. You learn from an election result page that Stephanie Jones, a candidate for city council, won her campaign on election day about a month ago. You find no mention of the Rootrees. Okay, Stephanie is also a very bare bone website. It is simply a picture of a campaign mailer, and underneath it says, be sure to read the full article. Okay. Let's do Brian Jones. Brian Jones is a famous athlete who broke a pole vaulting record in 1954. He doesn't seem related to Rootrees. If you look for a different Brian Jones, you may need to search a more local resource. Okay. Brian Jones. There we go. There are many advertisements over the years, as well as a small article from 1995 about Jones graphic and print. Sorry, but that notebook page is full. Try adding a new one. Okay, how do I do that? Edit page. Cool. I feel like you should have just automatically did that for me. See, another thing I need to pay attention to are the years. That's also playing a part in stuff. The article is a piece about Brian Jones taking over his father's print company after 20 years. Brian seems to not have let it go to waste as a marketing opportunity during the interview portion. I've been in and out of that shop my whole life. My father taught me everything there is to know when it comes to getting the job done right and getting it done quick. We've been a printing staple of Butler County for years, and even the Butler County Times uses us for their coupon pages a few times a year. Thanks, by the way, he laughs. But still, whether you're a new client or our regulars, nothing will change. Come on down to the best prices on bulk and printing anywhere in the state of Pennsylvania, or search for us online. I designed the website myself. Okay, let's go check you out then. Jones graphic print. Okay, hey, look at this. Miracle. He worked with the Roottree. Didn't it say it didn't have no affiliation to the Rootrees? Or was that Stephanie part? Jones Graphic and Print is a company that, according to its website, has existed in Butler County for some time. The website seems fancy. It even has frames. The website lists the address, hours, and a few examples of clients they work with for each. Stephanie Jones campaign mailers, Roottree Candy Company, various banners and posters, Butler County Holiday Light Post banner, Miracle Network tour. Did I look up Miracle Network? I don't think so. Let's just highlight that so I can do it after. Roottree Motors. What's that? Who owned that? Butler County School District, Butler Summer Theater for Children of Eden. That sounds like something we need to look up. At the bottom it says we also do web design. Come on in and get a quote today. Okay, let's do Roottree Motors. Yeah, we getting somewhere. You find a hit for Roottree Motors on the Jones Graphic Print website, which you've already seen. You don't find any trace of them on the internet. As a local business, they may be featured other places. Okay. Is that what it's called? Okay, there is an ad for Roottree Motors in the paper. It seems Roottree Motors used to be called Wilkins Motors. Okay. Wilkins. An ad for Roottree Motors has run in every week's Butler County Times for many years, but recently has been changed to include a picture. 3 different unique versions of the ad have been added to your evidence. Wilkins Motors is now Roottree Motors. We may have new name, but we promise we're still the same family business. All that's different is we joined the Sweeter family. Okay, so someone whose last name was Wilkins got married to a Roottree. But who, not saying that a man can take a woman's last name, but I feel like this is that case. Because in my head I was gonna say, but I feel like the woman took the name. Let's see. Roottree Motors, your local family mechanic servicing the entire Pittsburgh area. Bonnie Noise, local family mechanic. Okay. It is a lady. See, I told y'all it was gonna be a lady. Tessa Roottree, our newest. Hold on. Oh, I can't highlight that. Fixer learned all there is to know about our cars from her Roottree Motor parents. Oh, that's the daughter. Roottree Motors, your local. Okay. A Roottree motor that is presently running first appeared in 1990s. Presently, yeah, that's right. Says that Roottree Motors has been around for 50 years, is a family business, and also that Tess Roottree, their newest fixer, learned all there is to know about cars from her Roottree motor parents. Should I go back to this and put Tessa Roottree? Okay, let's go to the internet. Okay, let's search Butler County. Butler County is located outside the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. While the Roottree Candy Company now has its headquarters in the city, the company began on a small farm within the Butler County limits, and the area has a lot of history with the family. The Butler County Times is presumably a local paper there. There are likely articles from over the years involving the Roottree family and those adjacent to them. It's been automatically added to your periodical search interface. As a side note, a video game called The Roottrees Are Dead was once set in Butler County, and it turns out the creator never lived in or near Butler County, or even had a connection to Butler County. Wow. Okay. Children of Eden. Okay. Children of Eden is a musical with songs by Stephanie Schwartz. I don't know who that is, but we highlighted. A game designer by the name Jeremy Johnston. Okay. Really likes it. Realized it could kind of fit timeline wise with the game he was making. Decided to use it instead of making something fake as kind of an Easter egg. You don't need to check it out, but if you do, I like the songs The Hardest Part of Love. Okay, I don't know if this is part of the game's lore, as in finding out what's happening to the Rootrees connection of the family, or is this the game's lore the developer wanted to just slide in and have us read. Also, if you haven't already, you should hit the back button to go back to Jones Graphic and Print, and instead of searching for Children of Eden, you should probably search for whoever was performing it. Performing? What do you mean? The Butler Summer Theater? Is that what they talking about? Okay, we get it somewhere. The Butler Summer Theater performs plays and musicals during the summer. Makes sense. As it is not summer currently, the website has a thank you message. Thank you for making our 1998 season such a success. Stay tuned for announcements about performances in 1999. The website lists the credits of musicals, which seems to be final show they performed last season. There's a cast list, but none of the names seems relevant. Below the cast, it lists the crew, and 2 things stand out: posters and additional set design elements by Jones Graphic and choreography by November Studios. Okay, let's highlight that, and let's highlight this, and let's search this. You know what I realized? I think I gotta search all of those. Okay, never mind. I think I gotta search all of the prints. Or not. I don't understand. I thought this would have popped up something. Or do I search it in the periodical? I feel like that'll be in the paper if they want people in the town to come see it. Butler Summer Theater has been around for at least 30 years. They perform plays and musicals. I read that. They also tend to take full page ad at the end of every season that says thank you and a list of names of the shows they perform with no additional information. As of this year, however, it mentions they have a website. Do I supposed to search Children's of Eden? Now I don't even know how to spell. There we go. No. Okay. Okay, let's do choreography by November Studios. You know, let's search November Studios. A local dance school that advertised lessons for ballet and jazz. There's hardly any other information, okay? Forgot the name. Studios. Instead of November Studios, maybe they should have called this place No Mention Studios because you don't find any information. Nice thought, though. Well, why is it interesting information that's down there? Below the cast list, the crew, and two things stand out. Like, why does that stand out? I'm really trying to figure this out, y'all. I really am. It's like, I feel more confident when they lock in something. Like, if they lock in and say this is correct. Let's do Zachary Morton. Let's see who that pops up for that. The thing is, I feel like I'm going to spell this name wrong. Zachariah Morton. Okay, Zach Morton. Okay. Let me go to the list of names for Wilkins. Let's look up Wilkins Motor then. Oh my god. Am I spelling their name right? Like, what's going on? Oh, because I'm spelling Catherine wrong. That's not... She didn't spell it the typical way. Okay. Oh, well, it didn't matter because no. Let's do Wilkins Motors again. Okay, let's look at that up in here. I'm not giving up. There's a lot of old newspaper ads for Wilkins Motors. The most recent mention you could find mentions the most recent mention you could find mentions they changed their name to Roottrees Motor. So we don't have any information on the people previously. Every time I feel like I got somewhere, it's telling me no. So at least we know Tessa and Catherine are related. I should say not is related, are related. Okay, let's just start from the very beginning, the very first Elias. Elias Roottree was the founder and first president of Roottree Candy Company. Okay, we know that information. You found what essentially is a propaganda site about him created by the Roottree family. At the top, there's a picture of him and his wife, Gwyneth. The picture has been added. Okay. Elias is credited for inventing 5 pieces, marrying his wife. Okay. He is quoted in Child. Okay. Is there a volume 3 of that book of Charles Lee? It's like a volume 3 that no one talked about? Okay, no, just 2. Butler County Times have paid host to many Roottree advertisements over the years. Many of their products, including 5 pieces, they flood the results. Okay. Who can I look up? Carl Roottree. It says, okay, Carl took over as the 5th president. Did I put that information in for Carl? So it's 1. Somebody had to take over right here. 2. He has to be the 3rd. 3rd. 5th. How will he be the 5th? Because we're missing the 4th. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's just put him back as the 2nd. Because maybe there's a reason it's like that. Ernie is from 1996 when Carl took over as the 5th president of the Roottree Company from Ernie Jr. Ernie Jr. apparently liked to stay out of the spotlight. Never, okay. Article does mention an illness as a result of Ernie. Okay, so Ernie is the one who passed away. Is there like a hint section? Is there some way I can get a hint? Yes, get a hint. Elias started the family business. Surely he must have received some attention in the media. Search for Elias Roottrees business watch. Didn't I do that already? Well, obviously I did not. My bad. Elias Roottree was awarded Watchman of the Year in 1936 for his accomplishment for rolling out. Okay. Notes. Okay, let's see. Oh, he's spiffy with it. This is a more recent picture. Let's put that now. Yeah, pop up his most recent picture. There we go. Computer, no, table. Elias Roottree was voted Watchman of the Year by the Business Watch in 1936, and an painting of him appears on the cover. The magazine says he was voted Watchman of the Year specifically to recognize the global rollout of 5 pieces. Please give me some names in order. Inside the article is a timeline of 5 pieces. Okay, let's drink to that. 1908, Elias forms Roottree Candy Company after marrying his wife, who inherited a maple farm during the period before 5 pieces. The company is barely profitable. 1909, Elias has a daughter, the first of 5 children. Okay, let's go fix that. I'm guessing he had a daughter first, so he only have 2 girls. It has to be her. And switch. I still don't know her. Oh wait, no. Her name was Margolite. Huh? Who do I got as Margolite? Huh? I'm gonna put her as Margolite right now. Okay, let's just keep going first. Let's do one thing at a time. Elias. Okay, 4 more leading to. It says Elias invent 5 pieces. Each of the 5 flavors is chosen based on the initials of his 5 children. 1 flavor per child. Okay. That's why I'm gonna stop now. Wait. What year was that? 1922. Where is the one for 1922? Okay, it gotta be this. G E E C C E and M. Okay. I know M is miracle. So, and this is the original, right? Okay, but we can all agree the first name start with a G. Okay, hold on. Let's just keep reading pop-pops. And then we'll backtrack. So he had a daughter first. Okay. Elias invents 5 pieces. Each 5 flavors is chosen based on the initials of his 5 children. 1 flavor per child. 5 pieces are first sold in some Pittsburgh markets. 5 pieces are rolled out out to all of New England. The new recipe and flavor is finalized, and the candy begins nationwide. Distribution in department stores and other shops everywhere. So that was in 1928. So what year? Oops. What year was? This was 1924. Okay, so this was the finalized. Okay. So there is 2 M's. Gwen, Clarence, or Elias for this one. Margolite and Miracle. We know Miracle is the baby. I'm gonna just go with Margolite for her because she says she spent the summer with Margolite. This got to be Gwendolyn. Wait, what was her mom name? Gwyneth. So this is Gwendolyn Roottree. Gwendolyn. What's the next flavor? Sorry, pop-up. Elderberry. Which would be... Is it Elias Jr.? And he's an architect, right? Okay. Okay. These 3 entries are correct and have been locked. Yes. You've also locked the following optional entries. Okay, some of these are optional. I want to get everything. I want to get the whole board. Booyah. You're listening to Oh, let's listen.
It's time for your headlines. Once an hour, every hour, on the 45. It's a bizarre development to an already tragic tale. In the wake of the accident that took his life, some of Carl Roottree's belongings have apparently gone missing. Most
Who
notably,
doing that?
a framed photo of the Roottree family from the mid 1970s that Carl had on his office wall. We
I got
interviewed
that.
a local psychologist about who would do such a thing and why. For that article, search online for WRTD News. Again,
Okay.
that's WRTD.
WRTD News. Okay, this is a new development. Okay. Hold on. Let me go to WRTD News real quick. WRTD News. Okay, see, I'm adding stuff, right? WRTD News is your local investigative jazz radio station. During their news segment at 45 minutes on the hour, they have been talking about the plane crash. This most recent hour, they also talked about a picture taken from Carl's office after a plane crash and promised an interview online with a psychologist. During the interview, it's revealed there wasn't a break-in. Instead, someone has a key to the office, took the picture after discovering the pipes burst due to a recent storm. This means it was likely someone close to the family, who was aware of the photo's history and wanted to save it. The psychologist, however, also goes on to pose that the culprit had an alternate agenda, specifically because nobody in the family has come forward to say that they have it in their possession. The comment below the article says, "Don't believe their lies. This is just another instance of the Roottree curse being a real, true thing. I bet you, Carl, was murdered in a picture and had evidence on it." What's that? Roottree curse. There's a long ramble conspiracy website with very small and very red text on the black background that says that Rootrees are cursed. It has been very recently updated with the following important update. With Carl and Brenda and their girls, that makes 5 new deaths. Not only that, but 3 of the 5 presidents of the Roottree Company have died mysteriously. They say Guy's car was hit by a drunk driver in 1982. Okay. But nobody was arrested. Hold on, highlight that. Write that down. Then Ernie Matson stepped down. Was he poisoned? He was sick. Well, I mean, hey. And now we have Carl died in a plane crash. This cannot be a coincidence. There's another entry that claims if you connect the dots in the pattern of the 5-piece wrapper, it creates a Mayan ruby skull. I gotta look that up. A secret message meant to subliminally scare people away. The post before that has a link to a site that talks about how Earth has 4 corners simultaneously, 4 daytime cubes. The author of this site seems to agree. Getting into some weird territory on the Roottree family. An entry from a few months ago claims that the owner of the site received an email from Chris Raff, Prodigy US. Asking him to take down his site with fake proof that Ernie Matson Jr. actually had a heart condition and wasn't poisoned. The owner claims that although the proof looks quite credible, he knows that the proof was fake because he's an expert of creating fake evidence. The first entry is from 1996 and has a blurry picture of the Roottree Candy Company factory, seemingly taken by the website author from behind a fence and through some trees. It seems that the Operation RT-29 is real. I witnessed a helicopter land on February 29th, 1996. The website footer says all images and ideas by Thomas Overwood. Interesting. Who is Thomas Overwood? Let's search that real quick. Thomas Overwood seems to have a few different sites about mysterious deaths and curse. In addition to Roottree Curse website, you also find one about the truth behind Spirit Cola. Okay. Which claims that the spirit really stands for Satan's plague in returning in 2000. And that is the year 2000. Anyone who has drunk Spirit Cola will die. Another website is Stock Markets and the Devil's Numbers, which claims that if you multiply any stock's price by 666, then also multiply the current year by the same stock price, then add those 2 numbers together and divide the entire total by the stock price, and finally subtract the current year, you'll always end up with 666. I mean, okay, Thomas. I got your name highlighted. Okay, let's look up Guy's car accident. What's that about? Do I gotta look down the family line of names again in order to get Guy? Guy Hudson. Fancy Flavors was an additional to the 5-piece product line for less than a year in 1979. It was Guy Hudson's first and historically most cited move as a president of Roottrees, in an attempt to cater more towards what he thought. Hold on, wait. He was a president, so let me make sure. I feel like I heard his name somewhere else, but I can't remember. In an attempt to cater more towards what he thought the average person wanted, Guy looked at his own wealth, which was often a source of envy for others, and decided to tap into the idea that if they added fancy flavors to 5 pieces. I don't remember anything about fancy flavors. Anyone could live like the wealthy. The philosophy led to a flavor in 5-piece that was meant to mimic caviar. 5-piece sold less that year than it had any other year, except in some foreign markets. It was very quickly announced that caviar was meant to be a limited flavor and would go back to normal as soon as possible. Okay. How about death? Accident. Is that a local thing? Do I need to look that up in the locals? Guy Hudson. Although the Butler County Times does not archive their obituaries, they did a front page story in 1982 about Guy Hudson and his wife Patricia dying in a car accident. Oh, I didn't know both of them died. I just thought it was Guy. Okay. The story itself is surprisingly light on the relevant details due to the recency of the accident. Police reported that the crash was caused by an unidentified driver who swerved in front of the Hudson's car, causing him to brake hard and veer off the interstate. Although Guy was somewhat controversial president, foul play is not suspected. There are witnesses who reported that the vehicle which instigated the wreck was speeding, swerving between lanes, and cutting other drivers off as well for at least 5 or 6 minutes before the tragic accident. One witness says it could have been any one of us who they eventually ran off the road. The aggressor fled the accident, and the police have few leads other than make and model. Guy had been president of the Roottree Company for only 4 years. Through an undoubtedly volatile period in the company's history, he and his wife had no children. Okay, hold up. Who up here don't have kids connecting now? I don't know why I said it like that. Okay, there's no one married with this person. Someone's married, but no children. Could this be it right here? Patricia? I don't know. She's Patricia Jones. Let me see if I can look that up. Patricia Jones. Okay. Let me look this up under the periodical too. Okay, now what's the other name? Patricia who? Then Christensen Steel was a steel company in the early 1900s. You find a few mentions of the Butler County. Okay. Okay, highlight. Some are old birth announcements in the Butler County from the owner, Matthias Christensen. The only name that looks familiar is Patricia Christensen, the third of his 4 children, who was born in 1908. There was a front page article in 1944 stating that the Vice President of the United States had stopped there to visit the factory floor. The company stopped being advertised around 1949. Around that time, there was a blurb stating that Matthias was stepping down and attempting to sell the company. Why her name look familiar? Because she was dating Hudson? Let's hope that's the reason. Command C. Command B. Oops. Command B. Christensen Steel has a steel company in Butler. Okay, on a World War history page, you find that the contribute to the war. Wait, what? Okay, go back. This gotta be a book. Stop and highlight it. You find that that it contributed to the war effort by creating parts for vehicles, but after that went out of business. Christensen Steel and Patricia Christensen both are mentioned in book reviews by Steamy. Okay. Man V. Book title. Author. Search. Okay. This book is a historical letter with an erotic twist. Each letter is accompanied by context from the book's author. A letter from the book has been added to your page. Okay. Steamy correspondence. Okay. Okay, we just gotta read this part. Okay, in 1934, someone who goes by Patch wrote a letter full of innuendos to an unknown gentleman who was clear she had a romantic history with. Patch is thought by the book's author to have been Patricia Christensen, a daughter of the owner of Christian Steel. Her nickname was Pat, and Ch was the first two letters of her last name. And Patricia Christensen was known to appreciate wordplay like that. Ooh. Patricia, who would have... I hope I wasn't mute the whole time. I think I just hit it. I'll be so upset if I was muted, y'all. Patricia, who would have been in her mid-20s when the letters were written, was married to an older man of no notable status. Oh, well, Guy Hudson, I don't know who he is. This letter was most definitely not to him. There was also a few passages after the steamy bits that mentioned a daughter, leading Tina Angelina to theorize that this letter was written to the father of a child she hid from society in a way. The letter ends on a mention of a twisted twin that seems to evoke imagery from classic literature. If not for her story, yours and mine would be the most tragic tale ever told. How awful is it that such a beauty was ripped from its rightful fate and worse, sent to live in possession of your brother's twisted twin? I was going to say the twin brothers, Gwen's kids, but I don't think she's married to anybody. Left an outcast, forced to a life of labor under a wicked relative, is like something from the start of a children's fable. She deserves not the life he has been sentenced to. I can't stand to be apart from you both. Someday I shall return to you, and I pray that he has not corrupt her to know his sins. I swear that on that joyous day, with all the strength I can muster, I will fight for our child's freedom. Let us pray her fable has a happy ending. Tina has no theory for what the more cryptic parts of that mean. Is that Sam's mom? Search Margot Light. Did I search that already? Let's search here. I feel like the women were not getting much from like the original 5-piece. I'm not getting much about them, and it's like, what am I supposed to put for them? Was Margot Light... Okay, let's go back to her journal, because her journals help me figure stuff out. Clark's getting married, and in my opinion, far too young. He's barely 18, for God's sake, and Danielle isn't much older. Was there a band C and D? Was that the name of the band? Danielle. So, Danielle is who he was marrying. They split up. He started dating someone else and they split up. Was this Patricia Christensen? Well, where would the Hudson name come from? I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff. He dated, they broke up. Dated, broke up. And he eventually married and had kids. He had to have a kid with someone right here. Or is this Patricia Christensen? I don't know. This could be Patricia. There's two Patricias. There's two Patricias. Okay. I don't want to use another hint yet, y'all. Y'all not realize this was my first hint I used. We're at 3 episodes in, and this is my first time using a hint. Crazy, right? Only one who had any discipline is Carl, but that's because Pop forced Clancy. And Clancy is... Wait. Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. Maybe I'm getting old, but our generation was never so bad. My brothers all seemed to pursue paths of knowledge, and the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if we lived anywhere south. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his apartment once he retires. Someone who will be illegal to marry. So this is like probably around the time where, interracial relationships probably wasn't a thing. So, because remember, there was an interracial looking kid in these pictures of the Free Spirit. Oh, crap. Sorry, y'all. Right here. Because I said it myself. She even looked interracial. But I said it. This little girl right here. It says, these are the large pictures. Okay. Guy, where's Guy? He's in this picture. Ernie Jr., Caroline, Gwyneth M. Gwyneth M. Who is that? Yeah, I'll be flipping through these things. Gwyneth M. I need to listen names. Who's Eloise? I'm gonna need another hint. Come on, Ducky Duck. Get a hint. One of the diary entries offhandedly mentions a relative appearing in a publication. I bet you could track that article down. A Life Between Wars. Lauren mentions that Gwen has appeared in Starlet. You know, I meant to look this up. Starlet. Gwen. Roottree. There we go. Gwen Roottree was often in Starlet. Most mentions were around the time of her divorce, 1958, from Wild Bill Williams. I knew they were married because it made sense. The gossip is speculative and full of tabloid stereotypes. Some of it focuses on the fact that when she announced her divorce, she also announced she was pregnant again. Others mentioned that the rumors Wild Bill had multiple affairs, which left her heartbroken. There's also an interview from earlier in mid-1957 where she was asked about her last name. She answered, "The power of a name is undeniable. My grandfather constantly preached the importance of family names and honoring them. My father decided to bless me with a famous name. There's nothing wrong with Cornwall, but Roottree has power. My husband similarly goes by Wild Bill. It's an infamous name he repurposed for himself because he didn't have the benefit of being born with a famous one. But Wild, combined with the alliteration Williams, is incredibly memorable." Okay, but what's his real name? "Although we relocated to Paris, I know your readers love to keep up with my husband, so consider this a Starlet exclusive about both of us. Wild Bill and I have a child on the way, and we're sticking with Roottree for the last name, not Williams. But we also plan to lean into alliteration. That's how we'll honor both of our family names for the next generation." What was printed out? What did they give me? Okay, so these aren't... I thought she had twins. He said they're going to do alliteration for their name, the kid names. Okay. So he didn't... Could this be Guy Hut? No, because he was married. This isn't Guy. Okay, let me look up Wild Bill then. Wild Bill Williams has mentioned many times throughout the magazine lifespan, with stories gossip about who he had been seen with in public, blondes mostly. 3 specific passages stand out. The first mentions was of his first role was on his real name, Walter. Okay, let's add that now. Walter Eastman. Okay. The second is an interview. Although he doesn't mention her, mention her by name, you determine from context he's talking about Gwen Roottree. An apology to all the ladies, I'm actually taken. Earlier this year, I did a friend a favor. He was directing a war movie and asked me to play a small part. Wouldn't you know it, that son of a bee cut me from the picture. I'm just ribbing. It wasn't his fault. Apparently, the studio didn't want to pay for a star of my caliber. I got the less left though. I met someone. She spent most of the film crying. She was playing a soldier's wife. I knew it was them. I knew it was these two. But even through the tears, she was incredible. I know I tend to have a reputation, but this one's true love. I only have eyes for her. Ironically, the third is a rumor that his divorce from Gwen was due to multiple affairs, including one with another actress. An American reader on vacation in Paris claims to have overheard Wild Bill and Gwen arguing in public while she was holding a baby and visibly pregnant. Not long after, Gwen announced she was divorcing Wild Bill and also that she was pregnant again, giving this rumor more credibility. Okay, so if I had to go based off of look-wise, I feel like he's the oldest and he's the youngest. Oh wait, switched it. You know what I'm trying to say. Like that. Now, what are your kids' names? I wish these names crossed out once we used them. I have no clue. Let me go back to the computer. Okay, let's search this name on the internet then. Walter is listed as Gal and Gang, which was directed by Bruce Thurmockton. I don't know if this is important information. It appears to be a low-budget company, but there's no other information. Okay. Bruce Throckmorton was a prolific movie director who released a movie every year from the mid-1960s until his death on set. in 1993. Most of his movies could be described as camp, especially those from the early 1970s, although you notice some critics seem to take offense with the characterization. One of his signature flourishes was to include a silly message a minute or two after a movie's credit ended. Most of these have been cut from home video releases of his titles, so fans of his work have been trying to track down film prints to catalog them all. As fascinating as this is not related to. Okay. I feel like since I haven't used it for 3 episodes, let's count this as my 3rd time, you know? If you're completely stuck, okay. Lauren Roottree mentions an old book of hers in an old diary entry. Let's look into it. Okay. I'm not going to take it too far. Even though I looked this book up, but I missed some information, clearly. Lauren Roottree. Is it under her maiden name? I forgot her maiden name. Out of print. No copies available. Really says. Okay. Mancy. Okay. Hold on. Give me some more information. Oh, that's what that meant. My bad. No copies re-released as X marks the spot. I gotta start reading. Okay, at that point, she then start going by Roottree. There we go. Published 1974. According to the back of the book, this is a buried treasure by Lauren Roottree and from the author of the Court series. It also says to keep an eye out for Lauren Roottree next book, Revisiting Diary 10 years later. Let's revisit. There we go. This was a version of Lauren's Roottree diary released in 1975. Unlike the original diary, it contains no pictures, but has many new passages that reflect on her thoughts 10 years later. One major event happened between releases that changed Lauren's outlook on a certain subject. The death of Elias. A summary of the fallout has been added to... Okay. Oh, this is a new book. I like Lauren. Lauren gave me all the help. The new diary opens with an explosive incident that happened in a decade between the release and re-release of Lauren's diary. Elias Roottree had died, and during the reading of his will, there was an audible gasp when a certain name was read aloud. Samantha. So Sam is a girl. I thought Sam was a boy. Samantha Roottree. Although Sam and her children were not meant to receive monetary inheritance, he had a stipulation that she retained the right to run the farm and any and all decisions related to it. It was then that the scandalous secrets came out. None of the 5 pieces were surprised, but it was quite a shock to everyone else, including Sam. She had been told her parents died. Apparently, Sam was a legitimate... let the word go, daughter of Elias Jr. and Patricia Christensen. Hold on. Elias Jr. Hold on. Because this is tea for me. Elias Jr. Patricia. But they weren't married, were they? Because Christensen is the one who had that thing going on. So is this Sam? Let's do Samantha. Let's just put it. Let's just follow what they say. Okay, let's keep reading. Patricia, the daughter of the local steel mogul, and Eli Jr. harbored a secret romance at age 16. She became pregnant, and after birth, her father refused to let her see Eli Jr. This is Elias, right? Okay, Elias Jr. And he's locked in, right? Okay, so we got that correct. Okay, her baby Samantha was sent to the Roottrees. Elias hid her away with a local farmhand known as EC. Patricia was married off to a much older man and sent away. That was the end of that. Okay, so they never got married. They just share a child together. So never mind that. So wait, how are we supposed to connect the Samantha to him? Is that just information we keep in our head? I guess. I'm sorry, y'all. EC, this is not the first time EC came up. Elias, which is, I guess, their grandfather. Okay. I'm just highlight that part. Okay. None of the next gen had ever met or heard of Patricia until she unexpectedly reappeared, now going by Patsy. Wait. Oh, okay, I remember. Wait, what? Hold on. My brain. Let me slow it down, because Lauren said she didn't see Sam until Eli's wedding or something to Patsy. So did he marry his daughter? Patsy's husband died. She reunited with Eli. Okay, hold on. I got it. None of the next gens had ever met or heard of Patricia until she unexpectedly now going by Patsy. Got it. Okay. I read that as Samantha for whatever reason. So Patricia and him did get married. After Patsy's husband died, she reunited with Eli Jr. and they finally married in their 50s. Lauren mentioned the wedding in her first diary without knowing Patsy's history. Eli Jr. had never taken another lover. Lauren ever the romantic quite appreciate. Okay. So let's lock that in. Patricia Christensen. Oops, wrong person. Right here. Okay. So they did end up getting married and they did have a daughter, Samantha. Cool. Okay. When Patsy and Eli Jr. finally married, Elias decided Sam should have been a Roottree in the first place. Even though she was not part of the clan's trust, he wanted to include her in the family affairs. This is what led Lauren initial entry entitled Sam. Okay. This page is an additional note in context from the 1975 10-year anniversary re-release of Lauren's diary. It is a companion piece to entry about Sam. Clearly, I did not know our true family history when I wrote this. I didn't even know Sam was a Roottree. All of my doubts were ill-founded. She's a fine woman. She had the chance to grow up with us. Sam might have been a sister figure Gwen never was. Okay. Ernie and the kids are lucky to have her, and her children seem eager to help the family in their own way. Ernie Jr. has been learning the day-to-day from Zach. It had been a long time since any real Roottree was excited and interested in the actual candy as Ernie. Ernie Jr. It has been a long time since any real Roottree was as excited and interested in the actual candy as Ernie. As a bonus, Gwyneth has the green thumb of her mother and her adopted grandfather. Oh my god, this family is so big. Okay. What I'm most ashamed of is not figuring it all out myself. Sam's a spitting image of Patsy with her jet black hair and green eyes. She doesn't have the thick glasses Patsy did, of course, but I guess that skips a generation. Her children have that covered. Okay, so we're looking for long black hair. It's hard to explain the look on Pop's face when they read the farm's operation would pass to Samantha Roottree for as long as she was willing. I got flashbacks to when Zach was made president. Mother reframed it a bit to calm him down. Sam wouldn't receive any candy money, after all, and was essentially inheriting the right to rule over the peasants for eternity. Pop warned us away from that farm for years. I never met EC in person, but Pop once referred to him as confirmed bachelor. So no one know who EC is, for real? And I suspected that while he kept us from there, Sam had to grow up in a house with him and the roommates, Mr. Miller. I'm not sure Sam will ever forgive Uncle Junior or Patsy for abandoning her to that life. If I were her, I might never forgive them either. But even so, she seems to blame more than just the two of them. She has no problem with us, next gens, but she has a palpable hatred for the five pieces in Elias and Gwyneth. I mean, reasonably so. Y'all took her away from family when she could have just been a Roottree from the beginning. Okay, now we're talking about Clark. This is a page of additional... Oh, wait, hold on, wait. I want to look at the pictures. Because remember they said put Sam in the picture? Revisiting a diary, Clark. Hold on. He had long black hair. Grandma insisted we include Sam if we didn't want to. None of us understood why, including Sam. Also didn't think it's fair. Miracle made it in since he's technically a 5-piece. Okay, so I'm assuming that's Sam right here. She's the only one with black hair. This page of additional notes and context from the 1970s. Okay, reading this back, I get deja vu. As I write this addendum, Clark's gotten married again. No Roottree has ever been married. Sure, I lost Jacob and Gwendover's wild Bill just before she had her second. Now even I can blame her for that. I've seen what he gets up to in Starlet, but neither of us ever took a second husband. With the way the world is moving, I guess it was inevitable someone in this family would remarry. I just wish it wasn't my son. I can only wonder if Clark's apparent disrespect for marriage is due to the lack of a real father. I did what I could, and Lord knows Eli C. stepped up and helped. Okay, this is the first time we heard somebody with Eli C. More than I could say for Clancy or Edward. Eli C. practically raised Clark and Jim as brothers. Eli C. Whenever he could. Eli's marriage seems fine, and Jim's marriage seems solid as a rock, pun intended. So, who knows what causes these things? I suspected that he's marrying Jane to keep her from running out on the band. Without her, oh, this is the bandmate. Without her, he'd be the third wheel, and I imagine they wouldn't last long as a trio. But still, I don't think a marriage on such a shaky foundation like that can last. And Lord knows, I was right last time. Okay, yep, that's Jane LaRoe, his sister, the girl's sister. I'm gonna go with this picture. The biggest complaint I got after publishing my diary was how many similar names there are. Thank you, and I get it. There are 4 Eli's, for Pete's sake. 4 Eli's, okay. But that's how it is. Someone would say I saw Eli in town, and I wouldn't know which one they meant. My brother, my uncle, my cousin. That's why they became Uncle Junior, or Miracle's Eli, or Eli C. So, Uncle Junior, we know who that is. We got Miracle Eli. So, we have my uncle, my cousin, or my brother. And then we got our actual grandfather, Elias. Okay. Our family names are always unusual. Grandpa Elias was a believer in using names for each generation to honor those in the last. His father and Grandma Gwyneth's father were named Edward and Clancy. So now you see where my pop's name came from. Okay. And that's how we got Gwendolyn and Gwen. Got it. One thing that has always been consistent in our family, though, is that anytime someone's a junior, there's always the firstborn son. That goes for Miracle, Eli, or even Clancy. With the women, however, it all goes out the window. I think Gwendolyn got her name from some combination of Gwyneth and Carolyn, who was Elias's mother. Women's names tend to get all mixed up as the generations went on. I guess that's because there's no female equivalent of junior. So if you're reading my diary and confused, you're not alone. Even the government had problems. I remember once receiving a certified mail for an Edward Clancy Roottree. I had to break the news they got my father's name backward. Okay, so I don't know about y'all, but that confused me even more. They confused me even more. Hold on, let me just make sure. So he has a son named Eli too. He's Eli C. Miracle's Eli. I could have sworn I locked the Eli in for him. Wait, who do I have for my brother over here? No one. So someone is Eli with them. Okay. Apparently this is the first thing she could find that she ever wrote. She knows it was for a school assignment about anger, and she believes based on what? Based on the teacher's name, and she must have been in the 3rd grade. She doesn't exactly remember the events spelled out here, but she does remember getting in trouble. I got angry when I met a new girl who I do not like. She was dirty and did not have a pretty dress. Me and Pop walked home in town, and she hugged him. When I told her he was my Pop, she pushed me. I got angry and yelled at her, and Pop said to treat her nice. Then she said, "Your Pop is my dad." She screamed it loud in my ear. She was lying to me, and lying is not a nice thing. So I pushed her too. Then I got in trouble. Then Pop took her away. He told me, "Don't worry. I am glad she is gone." Pop got another child. Y'all, I'm really trying to push it to get these last 3. But I feel like in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to use some cheats. Well, not cheats, hints. cheats is when I look you up online. This is helpful. They're helping me. Okay. I just need to lock in the girls. For whatever, I'm not getting information about the girls at all. So I'm gonna need them to help me out there. There's a sticker on the front of rolling on down to the city. I wonder what that's about. One of the greatest grandson of Elias Roottrees could make. Oh, this sweet. Okay, what about it? I looked that thing up. Seems to have it reviewed by a magazine. Let's see if we can find it. You won't be able to search for the abbreviated form of the magazine via periodicals. What was the name of that magazine again, y'all? I know it was MMM. Monthly something. It's in my notebook. Just give me a second to find it. Copy this. Command C. Rolling on down to the city. Child, see, look, this type of stuff I would have not been searching. A review and interview from 1979 titled A Reluctant Hitmaker, Jim goes into his first band. Until a few years ago, Diamond and I were in C and J plus J and D with my cousin and his ex. Clark never knew his father, so our grandpa insisted he spend time with my dad and me. As a result, Clark and I grew up like brothers. Diamond and Jane, on the other hand, are actually sisters, so the four of us had sort of cutesy family band thing going on. Now at our finest hour. Regardless, when Diamond walked in on Clark in bed with her younger sister, everything exploded. No more family band. The only thing Clark and I had in common was music, but even then, we never agreed on what it should be. He was always more interested in catchy tunes, something you hum a week later. I've been told Roland is like that, but that wasn't my goal. When he called me up and said he liked it, I took it as a sign I was going in the wrong direction musically. That made him laugh, but I'm trying to make art. I don't mind saying any of these because he'd agree. For most of the decade, he was a mess, but he's a lot happier now. He started Radford Tunes, okay, and he's a much better jingle writer than songwriter. One of the benefits of a famous family is a massive company willing to be a client. That's also how my father was connected to Roottree. All his old ad campaigns were hung on the walls over the record player, but I was never interested. I just went straight for music. I guess Clark was paying more attention. Okay, let's look up Radford Tunes on the internet. Oh, look at that, a print. A website about Radford Tunes, Clark Rafferty LaRoe advertising firm. On there is an about page, and you find a picture labeled the inspiration for a famous Super Bowl ad campaign. Below that is more detail. Clark was in a department store getting a family portrait with his wife and children. And when his wife was trying to get his youngest, Katrina, to come down for the picture, he had an idea for the Roottree Super Bowl ad. The photo is the evidence. Okay, before I look at the evidence, let's lock in. He had a child. Rafferty LaRoe. Okay. Let's get this picture now. Ugh. Clark. Clark was in a department store. Okay. His youngest. Okay. We got a more recent picture of her. Let's change her picture out. Ooh. Wait. He has 3 kids regardless. Okay. Should I look up Jane Rafferty LaRoe? Nothing. Okay, how about just Jane? Oh, cool. We got something new. In an article from 1968, you find a small section focusing on young upcoming talent that, okay, the LaRoe sisters got their start doing sessions for their great uncle's record label. If you remember any songs from 1960 to 65 that featured the voices of kids, they were probably involved. Back then, they were credited as a lucky, okay. Now that they've moved on to bigger, better ventures and are going by their full name. Diamond and Jane have been touring with some famous faces. Ever heard of the Rootrees? And are looking to release an album sometime next year. Youngest Kim is about to step into a prominent role on Broadway, taking over for one of the children in Oliver. The Lucky LaRues indeed. Jane Dellavecchio is listed on the talent for hire site as a wedding singer. Way down this credentials section of her biography, it mentions she got her start as a young girl when she was Jane LaRoe of the Lucky LaRoe. Okay, so she's remarried, I'm guessing. It also mentions on to only contact her agent in the event that you actually wish to hire her, and that any and all inquiry about her past or her sisters will be ignored. It's listed on a talent for hire, way down in the credential sections. Okay, it also mentions only contact. Okay. Diamond Dazzlers is the name of the official fan club for Gem and Diamond. You find a forum post called Cool Things You Got in the Mail on a random forum about video games. Only reply mentions that Gem and Diamond still send out a Christmas card every year to Diamond Dazzlers. It accompanied by some pictures as well as some history about the fan club. Apparently, even though it is no longer available to join, Gem and Diamond still honor it themselves personally. There's a fierce debate in the subsequent post about whether that's cool or pathetic. Amongst the pictures of Christmas cards from over the years, only one is relevant. The card from 1996 includes pictures of Gem and Diamond's young son Wolf, as well as a note about his daughter's band, the Fuzzlies. Okay. Highlight. Okay, so he has a son named Wolf. Gem and Diamond's son, youngest son, Wolf. Let's look up the Fuzzlies before I even go to that part. The Fuzzlies are an all-female punk band operating out of New York City. They're mentioned in passing in an online interview from earlier this year. Apparently, they were the opening act for the band the reviewer actually came to see. The reviewer writes that she normally doesn't review the opening act, but this one was unusual, and not because of the music, which she described as loud, fast, and repetitive, but not in a good way. The trio was extremely cagey about their identities. The reviewer asked the venue who they were, and she was told they were rumored to be the children of other famous musicians and didn't want that to be why they became famous or became popular. The reviewer also mentioned that for an underground and unknown band with absolutely no following, their equipment was all extremely expensive. Not only were they selling CDs, but they only cost $1. They probably were losing a fortune. The reviewer said although she bought a copy, she would be unlikely to ever listen to any of it again, except maybe Beef Baby, the 7th track. There is no picture of the Fuzzies performing live, but the cover from the CD they were selling, Scour, has been added to your evidence. Okay. Is this Wolf? You found a picture of the Christmas baby of Wolf. Okay, let's go to Diamond and him. Wolf was the youngest, so is he a musician? I'm just gonna put him as a musician right now because I'm looking at the headphones, and guess what? That's what I'm gonna put you as. Until told otherwise. Or he probably be a student. Who knows? This one is his daughter. Guitar vocalist Candy. Bass is Nikki. Drums. Is this a bass or guitar, y'all? I'm gonna assume this Candy is why she's so special and get the cover. Just a student, just a kid. Student college, student K through 12. That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm trying to go based off how this picture looked with the facial hair and stuff. This could be him. I don't know, child. I'm gonna just leave that. Okay. Beef Baby. Let's look that up. Beef Baby is a song by the Floozies. I don't know if that's Floozies or Fluzzies. I don't know how they pronounce that. You can't actually find anything else about it anywhere, but a name like that is hard. That it's hard not to speculate on the subject matter, isn't it? Could it be euphemism or about newborn cow? Perhaps the Floozies are holding a grudge against a toddler. It certainly piques your interest. If only you had time or resource to look into it further. Okay, let's look this up in the periodical. Maybe they're going to give me, okay, let's hint it up again. Let's give me one. The modern 5-piece flavors aren't helpful, but there might be something in a description of the ad that is. The ad seems to be from a magazine. Those are always helpful. Teen Blast, and let's search 5 pieces. Teen Blast has played host to many Roottree advertisements over the years. Many products include, okay, how about Roottrees? Despite the search results, Teen Blast mention of Roottree. Let's see if we can track. What? In a Roottree and Teen Blast. Okay, I would have never got that. I remember that a while back. Raina was on the cover of Teen Blast when she was 16 and did an interview. You had the cover. Yeah, I remember that now. Oh, it's so pretty. Teen Blast, Brother Trouble, New Gossip. Also, how to know if he's interested in win a trip to the set of a new movie. Raina, Sweet 16. The candy girl gets serious about her inspiration and aspirations. He's eating the chocolate. Okay. This is so Teen Magazine and J14 and all those magazines back in the day. What's the another one? Was this just a new picture of her? When did they talk about the Roottree with Raina anyway? Then she was in Team Blast. I forgot. Brother Trouble. Brother Trouble was a 1989 sitcom about two 16-year-old brothers the same age, one adopted, played by Tommy Mark Sheridan. That's TMS. Okay. I knew that already, but let's just highlight it anyway. And Dustin Christopher Baker. This is a new name for me. Their single mother, played by stand-up Penelope. Oh, this name is on the thing. I remember seeing it. Often had to navigate her job as a magazine columnist, as well as the troubles that come with raising two boys who were extremely competitive in sports, academics, and even romantic pursuit of their next door neighbor, Roxy. The showrunner was a small screen director, Ron Roottree. Okay, who is that? The show had strong ratings. Why does it sound like I know who this is, y'all? I know who this is. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like Gwen and her two boys. And then her son have film school on his jacket. So I'm going to assume Ron Roottree is that. The screen had strong ratings during the entirety of season 1, rocketing both Sheridan and Baker to instant stardom, mostly amongst the teenage girl demographics. However, it was canceled in 1991, midway through second season, due to a significant drop in ratings. Okay. So he was a director. Ron Roottree. Ronald. Okay. Director. Yes. She's hot. She's on fire. These 3 entries are correct and have been locked. Finally, we got our 18, y'all. You've also unlocked the following optional entries. Yeah, I want all of it. Ooh, yeah. Okay, we got a call. Shh. Oh, the phone.
So, you may have heard the news. Some of Carl's things have gone missing. That includes the pictures and mail I brought you earlier. I promise I didn't steal it.
I don't care if you did or didn't,
but
baby.
I did borrow it. I'll return it once we're done. Let me deal with my family in the meantime. Oh,
so
I guess that means I've officially confessed.
Right, I'm like, you're related. Is this Samantha?
I'm a Roottree. I assure you I have a reasonable explanation for the secrecy.
All about?
I'm about to do something big the family doesn't approve of. If you could just wait a little bit longer, I'll tell you more. In person. I'll return after 15 more blood relatives.
You know what I gotta say to that? That's the end of the episode, okay? That's the end of the episode. Is that a recap? We'll recap on the next episode, okay, y'all? We have a lot to get into with this here family. The Roottrees bloodline is very complicated, as you can see. And they want us to find 15 more people before we could get some new information. So with that being said, we're ending it here. All right, y'all. I look so crusty now. How y'all been enjoying this series? If y'all been enjoying it, please let me know. Don't hesitate. There we go. Don't hesitate to tell me your thoughts on the series, what y'all think, what y'all speculating. I honestly don't have a thought in my brain. Only thing I can think of is who's related to who. Yeah. I don't know what's in that envelope. I don't know what is inconsistent that they said keep an eye out on inconsistencies. All I know is this family is huge. There's too many of the same names, like she said. And the creator of this, who created this game, your brain is amazing, because the fact that you had all this written out, thought out, process created, and yeah, that's just beautiful work. Okay, so yeah, like I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie, I may need a little break from this, because usually I record it back to back, but my brain power have been used so much today whether it was with this game or just the day by itself, that now it's like I am, you know, pondering on a lot. So it's like my brain just need a chill moment. So I'm gonna record it maybe like 2 or 3 days later, but I'm gonna be back on it because I'm excited to get into this mystery. So if you're excited, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys on the next one.